People think there's steps to investing. There are no steps. There are truly no one proven way of just doing things consistently over and over, because everybody's life is different. Everybody lives a different lifestyle. Everybody has a different skill. Everybody has a different path, right? I might be very high in the level of resources, right? So I would skip the steps of being very resourceful. I already have it, right? Some people have capital. So if I gave you steps and say, okay, you need to have good credit, you need to have some capital, right? Probably a good solid W-2, right? That would be the steps, but those steps don't fit for everybody. Those steps fit for specific individuals who don't have none of those. So in areas where you do have some of that, right, then there's steps. Without that, then you kind of step in the zone which you're kind of weak in and go from there. If it's credit, then you need to start building your credit up and boosting up your credit. If it's capital, then you need to start making some money somehow, some way. If you don't have money, you need to be resourceful and figure out ways that you can be resourceful in bringing in capital, raising money from different other sources. That would be the steps. So each part, when people truly ask me like, Ray, what's the steps to gaining wealth? What's the mindset that you would use to gain wealth? Truthfully, without me BSing you, telling you something somebody else is going to tell you, there's no real proven method, right? Each person individually has to have a assessment of what works for them, right, in their field. Me personally, I would start with being resourceful. That's like the number one absolute step I would start for, is learning how to have resources, learn how to gather resources, learning where to find resources. I'm like, once you start having that, you don't really need credit, you don't really need money, because you can always find it. That's important. What's up, everybody? This is Ray Spencer with Legendary Life Media. We are talking about how to break into real estate and investing and how to really grow your mindset in that field. I think the best advice for somebody who's just starting off that doesn't have any resources, I would stick to YouTube. YouTube University is probably the easiest place you can go to. If it's wholesaling, if it's flipping. So if you want to learn about wholesaling, I would say just go to YouTube University, Wholesaling 101. Every first 10 videos, gobble it up until you can kind of grasp a concept on what it actually is that this thing is, right? The way to really navigate this is you got to kind of understand enough of it, right, for you to move your education forward, right? So I would grabble up as much as you can, Wholesaling 101, right? Once you kind of get a concept of those videos, watch them 2, 3, 4 times, figure out some people that you kind of like in there. I'd watch the first 10. Once you got up, then you can start making steps of like, all right, I kind of know what I need to do first, and then move in that direction. I was like, the biggest part is a lot of people don't understand that in order for a rocket to shoot to the moon, right, it takes the most energy, the most fuel, and within that first 10, 20 seconds, right? So there's a lot that needs to be impacted into this for you to get to that point. You're going to put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of study, and a lot of research into really getting to that first focal point of you learning, or you just even grasping the concept of what wholesaling, real estate, investing really is in that point. So you're going to have to grind a little bit. You're going to have to study a little bit. You're going to have to really put in some effort to make a deal happen, whether that's taking phone calls, knocking on doors. It's going to take some consistent actions, It's going to take a lot of energy, point blank and simple, for you to get to that point. And I'm just me keeping it real with you. When I first started off, I ain't have shit. I started off with no money. Credit score was 389. I was living with my brother at the time, and it took me probably about a year to really gross at least 1.2 million in real estate, right? Now I'm 6 million plus in real estate. But to get to that point, it just took consistent effort to get to that point, to really realize I can actually achieve that. Once it just my first 10 grand took a lot. It took me 3 months to even get my first 10 grand. Once I got that, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, just zeros, just to keep it 100. Some of y'all gonna go through this stuff. You're gonna feel like you want to quit, you want to give up, but I'm gonna tell you don't, because at the end of the line is always the prize. At the end of the race is always something you never foresee once you get to there, right? It's always breathtaking, right? It's always worthwhile once you get to the end of your goal, once you get to the end of the steps, right? So I would say don't give up. For the people who feel like they need to give up, take a moment, sit down, take a breath, cut your shit, get back on the horse, and keep going till you get to the end of the finish line, and then you succeed. If not, reach out to us.